Under the scope. Hey everybody, Jared and Shane here with another Scope movie review. It is brutally cold.
It's become a tradition here on the Scope.
Every time we go see a movie in the wintertime,
Single digits.
single digits or below. 2 degrees is what we're reading right now. But let's see if the latest movie we saw, Hot Tub Time Machine, can heat things up. Hot Tub Time Machine 2, Jared.
I'm going to go with no, it can't. Oh, what?
Oh, you're already into it. Jared,
Yes.
This is a sequel to, I'm going to say, 2011, 2012
Sure.
Hot Tub Time Machine, which starred John Cusack, who
Yep.
is notably absent in this movie, but it also starred, who else?
Rob Corddry.
Rob Corddry.
Craig Robinson.
Craig Robinson.
Was Clark Duke in the first one? I think he was.
I believe
maybe.
Clark Duke was in it.
This one brings in newcomer Adam Scott. Maybe you've heard of him?
Yep. Replacing John Cusack's
Yes.
role.
Also appearances by a lot of Daily Show type people and
Yep.
comedy people. Gillian Jacobs,
her from
Jason
Community?
Jones,
Yep.
Jessica Williams, even as a maybe a prophetic future host of the Daily Show.
Even though she just recently said she was not ready to host the show. It was sort of funny watching that. That
Yeah.
might have been the only, funny thing in this film.
So we drop into our story. It's year 2015, but things are very different than what you and I are experiencing. Our protagonists from the last film have seized the opportunity of time travel to change things to favor themselves greatly.
Of course.
Lou has gotten, that's Rob Corddry's character, has gone on to front the heavy metal band Mötley Löu, and also form a tech company called Lugal.
Yes.
Imagine that. Craig Robinson's character, Nick, was it Nick? Something Adams, maybe?
Why not?
Sure.
Yes.
He decides
Chester.
to take the music route, and he came up with all these great hit songs that happen to resemble famous pop songs that you and I know in this time.
Alanis Morissette and Nirvana.
Exactly.
And
He's created himself a career in the music arts.
Yes.
Lou's son, I forget his name.
Clark.
Clark Duke's actor. I forget the actual character name though.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's kind of. He doesn't know, and he just sits around. Hey, invest locally, invest with us. Nice truck.
5% return on investment.
Sort of resents his dad. He just, sits around doing drugs and watching pornography all day. He's a bit of a mess up.
Yeah.
A burnout, if you will. Anyway.
You're getting way too much into the plot.
Anyway, at some point, something tragic befalls Lou, and the boys must hop into the hot tub time machine once again to go and change
history.
They want to go into the past and find Lou's killer before he can strike. But they end up in the future.
Yes.
It's 2025, and the time machine has taken them not where they want to go, but where they need to go.
Men wear skirts in 2025.
Yes, cars are fully autonomous.
Yeah.
And
And sentient.
It's 10 years in the future. How crazy can we get?
Yeah. And dogs on hoverboards.
Yeah. The dogs get it, but people don't.
And then essentially, Jared, to boil it down to something,
Yes.
there's a lot of time traveling mishaps.
A lot of time traveling mishaps, a long series of dick jokes
Yeah.
of various types. It's, Basically, the entire story takes place in the future for the most part, where they're trying to find Lou's killer.
Yes.
Do they stop them? Probably. Otherwise, hey, you wouldn't have a really welcome outcome to the film.
Yes. This movie is a mess. It is unfunny. It doesn't really make any sense. I don't need to be wrapped up in time travel. I mean, we saw another movie recently. The last movie we saw, as a matter of fact, was about time travel.
Yeah.
And that movie, the whole basis of it was to take time travel seriously. This obviously is not.
No.
I mean, that's okay. It's a comedy. It's supposed to be a push things to the limits type of comedy that maybe it has some darker aspects that you might see, like in, I don't know, The Hangover or something. I don't really know. But it was tonally confusing. There didn't really seem to be any sort of likable or relatable main character.
No.
The Rob Corddry Lou is so despicable, and
He's a horrible
like
person.
anybody would want to hang out with him. I don't really understand. It wasn't funny. It was gratuitous in a way that was trying to be shocking, but it just, everything fell flat. There was nothing.
A lot of the humor seems very, I want to say dated, but dated in that there's a lot of dick jokes. There's a lot of kind of gay jokes.
Yeah.
And it just feels like in 2015 that we maybe should have moved past that by now. There's a lot of it, and not all of it's mean-spirited,
No.
but it's played in a way that's just meant to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it just feels like we're probably 5 years past doing this sort of material, and let's do something a little bit more evolved and a little more enlightened. I don't know. That was my feeling.
And
I think the audience was feeling that too, because there's a future game show where this gay situation ends up happening.
Yeah.
And I could feel the audience energy just completely drain from that point on, and the laughs were less frequent from that point, even though the humor level was probably about the same. I think people were just pulled way out of the film.
Yeah, it just wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
For the amount of funny people they had in this film, the script certainly did not service their talents.
No, and if it was largely improv, then
Maybe
somebody needed to keep that under control. And
we need to go back to night classes maybe and practice our,
I feel like there's an
Strangers knocking on the door.
opportunity lost, because I kind of felt like the pre-credit sequence, whatever, where they're hopping around time. Sorry if I'm spoiling it. I don't care. They're hopping around time, getting themselves involved in various historical situations, and I thought that was interesting. I thought if the entire film was that, it would have been much more compelling.
I thought it was fun with Photoshop, is what I thought it was.
But I think it was funnier than just about anything else in the entire film.
The only thing that I actually thought was clever was when Nick was recreating all of those famous songs to be hits.
Yes.
He didn't remember all the lyrics. So it was just like, he'd do part of a song and sort of make things up and riff, which obviously wouldn't have been his hits. But
in this world,
it still was funny, and I enjoyed it. So but
that was clever.
Beyond that was the only thing that I found
Yeah.
even slightly enjoyable in this film.
It's just
it was short. It was 90 minutes.
It's a big mess from top to bottom. I think I remember liking the first one. I don't really remember it that well. This is just, it's nothing. It's not worth your time.
Yep, it's a cash grab, and it's a poor one at that. Let's give it a score.
The Scope score is 1/2 star.
So 1/2 star, Jared. There's not a lot of stars on a cold winter's night.
This movie comes out February 20th. We cannot get out of February fast enough because, boy, there's some bad films. Although Kingsman was all right, and it's doing decent at the box
Hot
office.
Tub Time Machine, I'm sorry to interrupt you, is going to be a flop.
Yes.
And it's going to be a movie that all these funny people in this cast are going to want to forget and move on to something better.
Chances are you're not going to see a 3. Sorry, folks. If you're holding out for the trilogy.
Yep. The trifecta, gone.
Yeah.
So, Jared, the review is over. That means
is.
it's time for you to tell our listeners and viewers how they can interact with us.
Well, you need to get blackout drunk, and then you like, comment, and subscribe down below.
Blackout drunk is the key part.
Yes. Although maybe it's not. That was inconsistent.
Don't even get me started. So for Jared, I am Shane. This is the Scope Movie Review for Hot Tub Time Machine 2. We'll be back with more Scope and more movies soon.
Shoot him in the dick.
Bye for now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves once again at the end. I hope you've enjoyed our time together. I know I have. Fear not, Scope faithful. The days shall pass as if they were but a moment, and Jared, Adam, and Shane will return with another thrilling episode. Until then, send your comments to comments@thescopeshow.com or leave a voicemail message by dialing
612-21-SCOPE. That's 612-217-2673.
Thanks for listening, faithful fans. This is Tony Partington saying arrivederci. Tune in next time to another terrific edition of The Scope.